What's up, guys? This is OJ Light. Um, just a little update. I have not streamed or posted videos in the last 2 days because of the whole Charlie Kirk event, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I I didn't do the streams because I didn't want to get captured in the moment. Captured by the spirit of this thing. There's a lot. If you're on YouTube, there's just a lot of opinions on the matter in either direction. Okay, and I just wanted to make a little video on what I think of the event, because I think it's like, well, what we just watched, like history, like this will be in the history books type of thing occur. So I guess I should give my opinion on the guy. I don't think well, I'll hold that last. So let me kind of discuss my fear of the whole thing. I kind of am afraid that this might be the shot that killed America. Okay, let me explain. And if you see, it's just, what I'm afraid of is this is now going to become a common occurrence, right? I'm old enough to remember I was in school when Columbine occurred, right? And at that time, the idea of, a school massacre was just unheard of. It was just unheard of. Now it's a common occurrence, guys. Like, I don't know, sometimes 3 happen a week in America. Shooting at school, like, it's a common occurrence now, right? It's part of everyday life. So now I'm afraid that this type of a event is going to become a common day occurrence. Let me just kind of think of the things that have occurred. I can't remember the what senator it was or U.S. representative, but they got attacked at a baseball, like they were part of like a amateur baseball league. He got attacked there. I can't think of the guy's name. Then we had Nancy Pelosi's husband. We had not one but 2 attempts on Trump's life. We've had the 2 people in Minnesota, the state representatives get killed. I think it was one was a state representative and the other was either the wife or husband. I don't. It's just eventually, it was like people have been trying to do something like this, and finally, somebody succeeded, right? Finally, somebody made it happen in the worst possible ways. So my fear is that this will become a common occurrence. It might not be politicians. It might be like, high profile public speakers who have opinions on religion or politics, right? That's going to be the new thing. That's going to, like, I hope not, but that's kind of what I think is gonna occur. It won't be overnight, but I just am afraid that this ball is starting to roll in a very bad direction. And if you look on YouTube, now this part I kind of find a little disgusting. On YouTube, on both sides, I got people, on one hand side, people are basically, they made Charlie into a saint. Like this is like, hate to say it, but they're kind of treating it like he was like a Christ figure and he's been killed, right? That's kind of like the narrative. He's being being turned into a saint, right? He's being martyred, right? And there's a lot of people who they haven't used this word, but it fits really good. They're calling for a jihad. Like let's the evil Democrats have done this. We need to exact revenge, right? There's a lot of videos like that on YouTube right now. Okay, a lot. And then we got, on the other side, we got people who are claiming this was a good thing. Charlie was an evil person. He brought this on himself. You get a lot of that too. There's a lot of that. So there's a lot on both sides. And that kind of feeds into my fear. Some people are like, "Oh, this is going to be a civil war." I want to address that because I hear that so often. There's not going to be a civil war, at least not the way you're thinking of it. What will probably happen? Again, I hope this doesn't happen, but what might happen, I'll use that word. What might happen is small pocket groups of individuals battling it out, right? It might not be like, U.S. military divided in half and they're fighting. No, that's not how it's going to look. It's going to probably be like, pocket gangs of people of different ideologies battling it out, like really small little conflicts. That's probably more of an accurate, if we go that direction, which every year seems like we're getting a little bit close to that. That's probably what might occur. I'm not gonna say it will occur. It might occur. I like I said, I'm very fearful of the situation. The moment I heard what happened, I just knew that the repercussions of the whole thing would probably be worse than the actual event. Like if this happened in Chicago, guys, we'd have he's already deploying the National Guard to Chicago, Trump, but it would have been like 10 times worse. 10 times worse. It's just a very delicate, kind of dangerous time, okay? And I heard a saying from a show, each generation has to know its own suffering. I think this is kind of the suffering that we're about to go through. Some real dark days. On top of that, and a lot of people haven't addressed this, but the job market's down. So that means a lot of people aren't working, and when a lot of people aren't working, they get bored, and when they're bored, they can go and cause trouble, right? So there's other, like, if this happened while the economy is booming and everyone and the job market's going high in one direction, I think it's just, like I say, it's never. I've always held this belief. It's never one thing that really makes or breaks something. It's a bunch of little things that add up together that leads to crises. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm hoping everything calms down. But my gut, like I said, it's not. If something does happen, it's not gonna be like tomorrow. Could be tomorrow, but it could be like 3 months from now, 6 months from now. Something else like this will occur, and then eventually it's going to become normalized. That's what, like I said, that's my fear. Eventually things like this will become normalized. It will just be like, well, another politician got shot at, another speaker got shot at. That's kind of my fear. That's kind of where I think things might head. So now I guess I should give my opinion on Charlie Kirk. Because like I said, one side thinks he was an evil person that brought this on himself. The other side thinks he's like a saint. I'm pretty neutral to the guy. I don't think he was some great evil. Some of the things I've seen people say about him, they make claims, but I need video footage. You know what I mean? I need actual proof that he said this, and I need to know the context in which he said this. Right? We have a bad culture where we cut things out of context. Right? When really there should be, like, I need to watch the whole 30-minute video to understand what led to whatever it is the saying was said. Right? So I'm pretty neutral to him. I do know, though, however, first of all, I think him getting shot's a tragedy. I really feel bad for his family, right? He's got a wife, 2 very young children, I think 1 and 3. That's horrible. To me, that's the most heartbreaking part of it, right? These children are now orphaned, right? That's the horrible part for me. do know a little bit about his theological views. I don't agree with him on his theological views. I have heard some of his speeches on that. I think he misrepresents. He has misrepresented scripture either in bad faith or just pure ignorance. I think he's done that, but a lot of Christians do that. So I that's not just a Charlie Kirk thing. That's a Bible believing individual thing. I think they really misrepresent scripture a lot. So that's my opinion on him. I feel bad for his family. I don't think he should have been shot. I do have some disagreements with him, but I don't think he's some evil person. I think he's just a young person who has stood by his beliefs. That's where I stand on him. So I guess this leads to the solution. If you've watched this channel, you know I am a fan. I follow the advice and works of not only Good Looking Loser, but Caleb Jones. And they actually have interactions with each other. In fact, Caleb was the one who told me about Good Looking Loser. So Caleb for years, and probably the last decade, maybe longer, but definitely within the last decade, has really been teaching and pushing that people need to establish themselves financially and leave the West. Okay, he is very he's very big on leaving the West. And I think now I don't. He does kind of doomsday it a little bit. Like his rhetoric is a little doomsday-ish, but honestly, I don't think he's that far off the mark, right? He's really been talking about years how the West is deteriorating. I think things like this add credibility to his, add a lot of credibility to his views. Like I said, he doomsdays it a little much, but I think the point is made. Things are deteriorating. And I don't think they're not gonna get better. They're not gonna get better. What I think, and I think a lot of people know this. I think a lot of people know that at least in the United States, things are deteriorating. They know it. They feel it. They feel it in the pocketbook. They see it on the news. They see it in just the way people have become. They see it. Okay, it's not like it's not like people are blind to it. What I think people do is I believe that they think that they personally can overcome this, right? Well, I know society is fucked, but I can do a good job and stay here and overcome it, right? I personally can do that. And I think Caleb's point of view is no, you can't. You gotta leave, because when it goes, it's gonna suck. It doesn't matter how great you are, it's gonna suck you with it, right? So I think that's Caleb's view on the whole situation, if I'm understanding him correctly, right? And I kind of agree with that. Honestly, I've always wanted to leave the United States, not out of the fact that it's deteriorating or anything like that, but just the fact that it's a big, beautiful world, and I would kind of hate to live and die in the same area of it, right? And never seen any of it. That's kind of where I'm at. So it's a little bit of a different worldview, but I understand his point. But anyways, guys, it's kind of like a rambling video. So anyways, I'm gonna have a live stream tonight. How did things go this week? What did you get accomplished, type of thing. And then we'll do the regular, like, try to do the nightly streams again. Like I said, I just took the last 2 days off because I really didn't want to get caught up and captured in the moment of this thing. I wanted to just take a few days, think about what has just occurred, and try to give a non-emotional, knee-jerk reaction to it. So anyways, guys, that's what I got for you guys. Keep on pumping, keep on lifting the weights, keep on chatting up those girls, and I'll see you tonight. Later.